Today on the workbench, I've got a new project. This is an Athearn P42DC. Of course, you can see it's in the Amtrak livery. The Soundtraxx Think Train. So this is a DCC ready model. We are going to be taking out the factory board and putting in, this is a NixTrainz decoder buddy. This is the V1B, the newest version of the decoder buddy. I believe there are 12 functions available on this. We are going to be installing 2 scale sound system speakers. Right there's the number for that. I've got a Blunami, Soundtraxx Blunami decoder. And I'm going to be using a TCS KA1 for a keep alive on this. So let's go ahead. We'll get started here. And to take the shell off of this, we'll remove the couplers. I'll end up upgrading the couplers. Put some KD couplers on that. Get that pulled out. So we've got another one up here in the front. And then there's a couple of screws. There's one right here and one back here to pull this shell off. Get that unstuck. And we'll get this other screw out. And these locomotives are fairly hefty. It'll pull out on the sides a little bit to get that off, but there's that. So we've got that apart, and I'm just going to gut all of this stuff right in here. We'll pull out these speakers. First I need to cut the tape on those, and then cut that tape. We'll get rid of some of this stuff. We'll get rid of this piece of tape. Alright, well, I've got to pull this one off. Okay, so there's all of our wires. And I am going to go ahead, now a little trick here. When you go to remove this board, if you want to know what these functions are when you go to hook it up to the decoder buddy, well, leave you some extra wire on these, on the factory board. You do that, you'll be able to tell what these are. Now, I mean, most of these are self-explanatory, but just leave you a little extra wire. course, these track pickups, they're really distinguishable. So we've got these two wires for back here. We've got a white and a red. That's for your light. And then we've got this black wire. It is for the class lights in the back. And then we've also got the same up front. Of course, this blue wire, that's our positive. Actually, it's not our positive. It's for up front. I think it's the number board light. Anyway, so got that red or black and white. More track pickups. More track pickup. This red is the positive for the lights up front, and then that red is the positive for the back, and the yellow is the function wire for the front headlight. So we've got all that cut out. I'm going to go ahead and take this speaker housing off. These are 28mm speakers. Pull the back one off. Now I know somebody will say in the comments or comment, why did you pull the factory board out? Well, because I wanted to. And the Decoder Buddy gives you the possibility of using the 12 functions. So if I wanted to put ground lights on this locomotive, I could. Of course, there's no steps on it, but I could put step lights on. You know, if you're doing a steam locomotive, you could use it to put in, you know, firebox flicker, anything like that. Of course, the other thing too is this will give you the, you know, it's a whole lot easier to hook up the keep alive with this. So that's a plus, and you can use, if you're putting an ESU decoder in here, this gives you the option to put the white wire for their current keeper, or let's see, their power pack. That's what they call theirs. So that's what that W is for. So there's different reasons to use these. So I like to take that out just because of the simple fact that it's a lot easier to use. And then of course we have our two motor wires. So there's that. Of course that's the dummy plug for DC. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So we've got a few extra parts we're going to save. We've got what I need to do here now. I'm going to pull this, I'll end up mounting the Decoder Buddy just like this. And to do that, I'm going to end up cutting these little brackets off. But I believe that this will pull right off, and that'll give me the opportunity to cut these tabs off. So let me do that, and then we can get back to the business at hand of wiring this thing up. So I'll be back here in a second. Alright, I'm back, and I've taken and I've sanded off the edge of that, and I've cleaned it off with some alcohol and put a piece of double-sided tape on it. So I'm going to go ahead and install that back on here. So there's that. Now, go ahead and grab my double-sided tape. Getting better with the double-sided tape. I used to have an awful lot of trouble with it. But so I've got the decoder buddy here, and I want to flip that around. Get all my lighting functions up front there. Make sure I've got enough wire. Okay. But I've went ahead and tinned or fluxed and tinned some of these pads, fluxed the motor pads up. So now we'll take and set this. Keep it centered. So there we've got that. Yeah, that'll be, now I'm going to go ahead and, because I'm going to run all my wires over top of my speakers. So to do that, I need to install the speakers, and they just install just like that. And like, well, and like that. No biggie. But I'm going to take and use double-sided tape on those. So I'll get out some a cotton swab, and I'll have to put a piece of wire on those too. I'm going to clean off that metal. And I'll clean off the side here where the tape's going to go. Dry that up some. Of course, it's going to take a minute because I got to pre-wire the speakers. So everything will be good and dry. Put the lid back on the alcohol. So now I say all the wiring, but the track pickups will still be underneath of the speaker, front and rear. So and I could run the front ones all the way to the back. As much wire as they left on that, my land. All right, so I'm going to do this off camera, and then when I come back, I'll show you what I've done. Of course, I'll take and wire the motor up too. So yeah, because it gets to the point where, you know, there's a lot of redundancy here. Yeah. Well, let's see. So let's do one track pickup. I'm going to cut them both the same length. Make sure I've got plenty there. And the same up front here. Extra wire out of the way. Okay. So there's that. Now, let me put some flux on these wires. Okay. Okay. Now, we'll start our wiring here on the track pickups. And we'll get them tucked away nice and neat here in a little bit. Okay, there's our track pickups out of the way. Those tucked in there away from the flywheel. Okay, so there we've got those tucked in. We're ready to go on that. I'll pull these speakers out here. Get that out of the way. So I'm going to hook these up in series. So I want to get, well, what did I do with my black wire? So I got to get my black wire. All right, so we're back here. I did a little prep work, and you can see I've added the double-sided tape, and I went ahead and I tinned those wires. Now I'm going to go ahead, I've got these cut to length, so I can take and put them where I need them. So this one's going to go, this red wire is going to go on the negative side of this speaker. And then it will connect to the positive side. Of this speaker. Okay. And then on this speaker over here, yep, let go. This black wire will go to the negative side of that speaker. And then, and I'm twisting these around so I can keep the edge I want where I want it. And we've got this red wire to the positive side. And now I'm chasing around too much. Okay. And that's a 36 gauge wire that I use on those. So that'll give me plenty of wire when I stick those down. That'll be like that. That's plenty of wire. And then over here, get all that out of the way. I have plenty there. So, and actually, I could cut that one down a little bit, but we've got plenty of room to put the excess, so we'll be good. Yeah, no, I'm gonna cut that down. I don't like that. So let me pull that red wire off, and I'll cut about an inch out of it. Yeah, that's better. That's better. So now, let's strip that. And we can put some solder on that. Okay. Now we're good. Oh my land. What was I looking at there that I thought that wire was too long? I've got it in the back there. Cut another inch off of that. that stuff out of the way. Third time's a charm. I hate doing that, but sometimes things happen. Of course, it doesn't help that both of my red wires are similar in size, and oddly enough, they're the same color. All right. Now that ought to give it to me. And if not, well, we'll think it should have. Okay, we're good there now. So now, just need to get my tape off, and let me do that off camera. This may take a minute. Okay. I've got the speakers fastened down. I cut my positive and negative wires down to size. Now we'll go ahead and we'll stick these to the board. So there's one. So let me zoom in on this a little bit. So since I put this negative wire on that side of the board, what am I sitting on there? Some screws underneath there. And we'll take this wire here and stick it right here on the opposite one. That'll give me my series connection. Now we're ready to hook up our motor wires. But first I'm going to check the polarity and see which way this motor is actually turning. So I'll be back in a second. I'm going to set it up on the track. Alright, I cut and trimmed the motor wires, and so now I'm going to turn them around here. Well, thought I was going to turn them around. And we'll get this soldered on. In case you're wondering, the black was the positive on this. I mean, it really doesn't matter. And I want to make sure that nothing is touching that motor or touching that flywheel. I've done that before, and it will lock up that motor. That silicone wire will. You wouldn't think it would, but it will. Let me get all this stuff out of the way. Okay. So we've got our track pickups, motor, and speaker. So now I'm going to put the decoder on it, and I'll try just make sure that the direction is correct. Okay, I think I say this every time I do one of these. I have a 50-50 shot of getting the direction right. And of course, when I tested it, I had it wrong. So I changed those two wires around. So the black is now back here in the back, and then there's the right orientation on that red wire. Put it in the front position. But anyway, we are ready to move on. The direction works good. Got everything underneath there. Now, I think I'm going to take and I'm going to wire up the Keep Alive. Let me zoom back out here. So to put this Keep Alive in, I am going to take and I could set it like that, I think, but that would limit the travel. So what I'm going to do, well, got a piece of tape there, is I'm going to lay this Keep Alive right here, right on this back corner, just like that. And I'll set it up like this. So, and it'll stay there forever like that. There's no big deal. There'll be enough tape there to hold that nice and solid. And I can get it wired up, and then we'll be ready to do the lights. So get this squared away down on there. So we've got our tape. So I guess if I really wanted to, I could put a piece of Kapton tape across this way. That way, that would give that a little bit of a ledge to sit on, I guess I want to say. Of course, it's sitting on that corner right there, so it's not going to push down. Actually, I want to pull it in some, so I don't want it to hit the body. So let me get this piece of tape off. So there's our Keep Alive. We can go ahead and get it wired in. Let's see. Yeah, we can get our Keep Alive wired in, and then we'll be ready to start our wiring. But I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so I went ahead and I stripped and tinned the positive and negative wire on that. So we're going to hook them up over here on our board, and the way this goes is the W is the white wire, and like I say, that would be for an ESU decoder. Then we have our U plus ground, and then there's two functions, A5 or 5 and 6, or auxiliaries, I should say. 5 and 6, and then we have another U positive. So let's go ahead and we'll start with our positive wire. And it'd be nice if I could grab that the way I wanted to. So there's our positive. Now, let me get a smaller pair of there we go. There's our negative on that. So let's get these tucked away, and we'll keep them in between that speaker and that little tab. That'll keep them nice and neat out of the way. There we go. So there's our keep alive, speakers, track pickups, motor. We're all good to go there. Now, we can start everything else. And I keep that wire right there, that track pickup, keeps getting against that flywheel. There, now, all right. So now I'm going to take a break. Okay, so I went through, and you can see I did a little wire management already. I put some heat shrink on these to keep them together. Those are the rear ones, and in the rear we've got 3 wires. So the white is the headlight, the black is the class lights, and the red is our positive in the back. And then up front, and I just took this one and soldered it to the board, because this very last pad on this new board is a U+. So it ties into the lighting pad. So that'll work really well. I don't have to fool with putting a positive up here on top now. There's 2 black wires. I've got them designated. I got this one cut here. This one is the right ditch light, and this black one is the front class lights. So I'll get them hooked up. I'll probably use pads 5 and 6 down here, just because this is all in the same little wiring harness here. Let me move this over. So yeah, I'll probably just use that little, those 4 wires will connect down here. And then I got these, there's 3 more. There's a white one, that's the left ditch light. The yellow one is the headlight, and this blue is the number boards, or number board. It's only got the one number board right there. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead, cut these to length, and I'll install them, and then I'll bring you back and I'll show you what I've done. Alright, so I had a heck of a time with these first 4 wires. The 2 positives and the ditch light and the class light. Anyway, had a heck of a time with them, because this wire that is factory is so cheap. you know, I could get the solder to stick to it, but every time I'd bend it, it would snap. So what I ended up doing was adding some different wire to it, some better wire, to where I could connect it to the board. So I've got A5, A6, and the positive right here. We'll do the right ditch light and the number board. And then the rest of them I'll take, and now I'll put this board on, and then I can solder everything to that. Now hopefully I don't have a lot of trouble with these. If I do, I'll just have to add wire to them, and I'll go from there. But I'm going to do all that off camera, because those 4 wires right there took me about a half an hour to do. But anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off again. I'll connect up these 4 wires, well, these 3 wires, and then I'll be back. Okay, so my other 3 wires, the blue, the class lights, are on A1. A3 is the left ditch light, and of course the yellow is the headlight. So all that's working. Now I had better luck with these. I cranked the temperature up, so that helped get the solder on there faster, and I don't know what was wrong with that first set, but anyway, so I got all that. Now I've just got these 3 wires from the back to hook up, and we'll get those hooked up, and then this will be complete, and we can put it up on the test track. I forgot to mention, of course, this new version of the Decoder Buddy, you can get it in either 1000 ohm resistors or 2200 ohm resistors. Of course, I think you can get them too, or I know you can get them. If you have a custom setting you want, you can let Nick know, and he'll put in whatever resistors you want on it. Nick, if I'm wrong, chime in there. Yeah. Or you can get them without resistors, and you can add your own resistors to it. So, anyway, let me get these 3 wires installed. I had better luck with these. Hopefully these will go quick. So, I'll be back here in a minute. Alright, so I had better luck with the back ones too. So I've got A4 is my rear class lights. Of course the white is the rear headlight, and the red was the positive. So everything is hooked up. Now I'm going to try it out. Go ahead, put the decoder on it. Hopefully I don't have to take that back off anymore. And right now we should be good to go with everything. So I'll try it out, and then the next time you see it, we'll be up on the test track. Alright, so I tested it out. Everything works, but I did make a mistake. I never noticed, but so the blue wire that is for the class lights, I took and I put it on the same function as the A5 that's down here on the pad. So I've got to move this wire. So let me grab a hold of that. We'll get that out of the way. And I'll move it over here to A2. And I know somebody was probably sitting there going, "Don't do that, dummy." But things happen. So I'll go ahead and put some flux on there. I may have to clean this off in a second. So there's that. So now, Clean that tip off. Move that. And you can see how delicate that is. Right there, I've already broken that off. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. This is the worst batch of wires I think that I've had. So, I'm trying to be as gentle as I can when I cut them. Okay. So there. Now I've got it all hooked up again. Now, you watch. I'm just going to take and move this just a little bit, just to get it out of the way. Well, hopefully it didn't crack, but... So, now I'm going to put it up on the test track again, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so once again, I was wrong. I had two functions tied to, let's see, what is it? F or A6. I should have known better. Had to pull out the instructions. So I disconnected A6 down there, moved it up to A3. Alright, so what do we got? A1, ditch light. A2, class light. A3, number board. A4, class light, rear class light. A5, right ditch light. So we've got everything hooked up. It's all good now. So what a time that I had with that. But everybody makes mistakes. I make mistakes. And you just got to learn how to walk through them and finish them off. So everything's working now. It's all good. I can go ahead, put the shell on it. And let me turn this around here a little bit. So this thing, it's got a V shape to it. So I'm going to try to, I'm prying the body off apart a little bit. Zoom out. What am I catching on there now? Hopefully not a piece of wire. Might have been a piece of wire. Anyway. Oh, that's what I was catching on. I was catching on a piece of wire. That right there. Let me get all of that out of the way. Hopefully I didn't unhook my ground. Well, there. Finally the thing is back together. What a, I mean, anything that could go wrong did go wrong. So let me put it up and I'll try it. Alright, we've got this little project finished here, and we've got it set up on the test track. We'll go through some of the functions. Let me first go through the startup sequence. So there's our startup sequence. I think you'll be able to see it. So there's our headlight. And then we'll go through. There's our ditch lights. And of course they are on with the horn. And then there's the front class lights. I don't know if you can see that come on or not. I'll back it up a little bit here in a second. But then we have, there's the number board. You can see it come on. And then we have the rear class lights that are on also. So got several functions there, lighting functions. Let me back that up. I've got this on 128 speed steps. That's speed step 1. I'll go ahead and pull that forward. There's speed step 2. So it does have good low speed in it. I really like that the Operation Lifesaver paint scheme. Should be able to see the rear class lights there. And I'll put it in reverse. We've got our rear headlight. And our short horn. Hear the air compressor kick on. So yeah, this is a pretty straightforward little project. We did have a few little minor bumps with the wiring there, but we got that straightened out. So yeah, this will run really good. We'll put some passenger cars behind it, and we'll have a nice train. So anyway. Thanks for watching. We'll go through the shutdown sequence on this too. So, all right. Now, thanks for watching.